All right, we are going to get started on Section 4, Chapter 18. We are going to be talking about disposing plant assets, so whether that's copy machine, whether it's a car, whether that's computer monitors, whatever. How we get rid of them and recording the price and the transaction, what that looks like. Okay, so our goal right here is to journalize how to record those assets when you're disposing of them. On page 546 in your book, here's where it kind of talks about that, sale of your plant asset for the book value. So if you received cash from sale, okay, of your display case, so that's the asset you are getting rid of. You received cash, so this is how much you received. That's your $250. That's the check that you received for it. Your total accumulated depreciation is $3,000. Okay, so right there's your accumulated depreciation, store equipment for $3,000 right there. The original cost was $3,250. That's your original cost right there, because when you actually bought it, store equipment right there. And then your debits and credits still equal. Okay, so first step, record an entry in your cash receipts journal to remove the original cost. Okay, so right there is where we're working on. Then two, this section, I told you, I think it was in section 2, to leave this blank right now. Here's where we come back and fill that in. Okay, so now section 2 is check how you got rid of the asset, and then the date that you got rid of it, and then the amount. Okay, so check the disposal. So when we sold it, we received cash from the sale, so we sold something. So right there's a check mark for sold. And then write the date. Right there is January 6th, 2016, January 6th, 2016. And then this is how much we actually received for that asset. Okay, so right there is that transaction. Recording a plant asset's depreciation expense for a partial year. Okay, so just like when you're finding depreciation, if you only had that asset for 3 years out of 12, you find the depreciation per month. So this is kind of the same concept here. Okay, so on April 4th of 2017, you recorded a partial year's depreciation on a safe to be sold, $60, memo number 31. Since the memo, you're working in your general journal. Here is where the $60, safe to be sold for $60. Your depreciation and your accumulated depreciation, that's saved as a store equipment. And then right here it says your $60 and $60. Okay, so the depreciation for this safe was $240 for the past 2 years is what it's looking like. So now since we got rid of it in April, we got to take that 240 divided by 12, which equals your 20. So you get $20 per month of depreciation. Since we used it for 3 full months, this is beginning of April, we used it for 3 full months, January, February, March. Now take that 20 times 3. This is where that 60 comes into play. Okay, so first you had to break that 240, because that's your annual depreciation. That 240 divided by 12, and you get 20. So it's $20 per month. But since we used it for 3 months, that 20 times 3 now turns into 60. So that's where the 60 comes from right there. Okay, so you just got to look to see when you got rid of that asset, how many months you actually used it for. So you're not depreciating it for 240 since you got rid of it since you only had it for 3 months. Okay. Now the sale of a plant asset for more than book value. So now coming up, when you get rid of your plant asset, are you making money? Are you losing money? This is what we are looking at. Okay, so on April 4th, 2017, you received cash from sale of the safe, $425. Original cost was $1,800, and your accumulated depreciation through April 4th plus 1,500. Okay, so you receive 425. That's why that 425 is in the cash debit, because you received a check. You received that check right there because you sold the safe for 425. The original cost is 1,800, so right there is store equipment 1,800. Since we're back chapters and chapters and chapters ago, we would debit store equipment because we were acquiring it, but now we're getting rid of it. Now that's why that's now a credit. Okay, store equipment credit 1,800. Accumulated depreciation is 1,500. So right there's your accumulated depreciation. Now we got to figure out if we made money or we lost money. Okay, so if you guys flip to page 548 in your book, how do we know if it's a gain or a loss on your asset? Okay, so you got to look at the book value. The gain or loss on the sale of a plant asset is the book value subtracted from the cash received. Okay, so you look at your book value, look at how much you received, but also keep in mind that if you're uncertain about that, look at your debits and credits. Okay, so right now you see you are short on credits to make up, or you're short right here on your credits, because this is 1,800, this is only 15, this is 425. So if you're still uncertain if it's gain or loss, if you need to put that number in a credit, okay, that means it's going to be a gain. If you need to put that number in your debit, it's going to be a loss. Okay, so right now, if you do the math, your debits and credits still equal. Okay, so first step, remove the original cost, which is what we did. The original cost is 1,800. That's why it's now a credit. Record the cash received from the sale. So we received this check for 425, so that's what we did. Check the type of disposal. Okay, so we sold it for 425 on this date. Okay, so that's all you got to do for that part. Now, if you sell the plant asset and receive less, so you are losing money. Okay, so it'll be fairly similar now. On October 6th, you received cash from sale of the computer for 150. So you received a check of 150 right there. That's why you have your cash debit of 150. Your original cost is 1,900. So right there, your office equipment. When you're getting rid of your asset, your office equipment is always going to be a credit. Always going to be a credit because you're getting rid of it. If you're buying this monitor, then it would be a debit. So if you're getting rid of it, it's a credit. So office equipment credit $1,900. Total accumulated depreciation is your 15. So right there, this is always going to be debit. Is your accumulated depreciation 1,500 right there. This is how much you received the check. So now look at your book value and then subtract it. Okay, but then again, your debits and credits must have to equal. So then that puts the other $250 that you're short in your credit. That means you lost money on this plant asset. Okay, so step 1, remove the original cost, which is what we just did, that 1,900. Record the loss on the sale. Right there's your loss. Record the cash received from the sale. Right there's your cash that you received. Check the type of disposal and write the date and disposal amount. So this would be referring to this section. Okay, you sold it, and it would be that section there. Okay, so this is where you look to see if you made money or you lost money on this asset. Okay, so if you go back and look at your work togethers, let's go ahead and look. Transaction that happened on January 6th. You received cash for sale of a computer and monitor, plant asset 241 for 290. Okay, so right here, it's a little hard to see, but if you need to zoom in, go for it. Okay, but accumulated depreciation right there. You are also using your information from section 3 to help you with this. Okay, so if you look back on section 3 for this, you have, right there. You have your 300 coming from section 3. Okay, so this is why this is 300. Okay, so you are using that information from section 3 to help you fill this out. Okay, so accumulated depreciation for store equipment, that's your 300. It says that you received cash for the sale, so you received that check of $290 right there. The original cost for your computer monitor, it says is $560. Okay, so you are looking right there on that. Okay, so same thing on the next transaction, you received cash for sale of a notebook computer of $800. So you received $800 for your check right there. If you look back into section 3, that $2,750, that's how much you originally bought it for. Okay, and then that $1,600 is your accumulated depreciation from that notebook computer on section 3. Okay, so here's two examples. One is when you make money off your asset that you got rid of. And then here's another example of you losing money on that asset when you got rid of it. Okay. And then you have your general journal as well right there for your transaction. Okay, so this section is all about journalizing when you're getting rid of the asset, and then whether you are making money on it or did you end up losing money on it. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. But happy Friday.